David Walksmith has been doing this research for several years now, looking at short-term rental data. So he's been doing this for a while. But also in 2023, the Conference Board of Canada put out a report looking at the same question, and their conclusion was that there actually was no statistically significant relationship between Airbnb activity and rental rates. In fact, in that report, they say, rents are up some percentage, whether that be 30% or something along those lines. And at best, Airbnb activity could account for 1% of that. Now, there are some differences between these two reports, and that's just kind of shows how important research methodology is to arrive at results.
Well, I mean, whether we're talking about the stats or anecdotally, I'm a tenant, rents are crushing and they're going up.
Yeah.
If you just look at the stats around the lack of vacancy rent control, for example, there was a report that came out either earlier this year or last year that said that in Victoria and Vancouver, the same unit could go up an average of between 30 and 50% just on a go. Even the nominal rent control we have, it went from 2% to 3.5%. And we recently saw where a landlord was able to get a successful more than 20% rent increase
20%.
Because their business gamble on a variable interest rate went sour on them, because the attitude of landlords are that they shouldn't have to pay a cent for the properties that they rent, that every penny of maintenance, mortgages, you have it, taxes needs to be squeezed from the tenant, and they need to make profit on top of it.
I'm speaking from a business point of view as an ex-short-term rental person. I'm a senior, and we were able to purchase the house next door to create a short-term rental. In Penticton here, we have a lot of events that bring people in.
Sure.
Grand Fondo, Ironman, unfortunately, it's done now. But just from my perspective, I agree with everybody previously because I've been very fortunate not to have to rent very often. But there's definitely an issue that's got to be dealt with, because we got houses going up left, right, and center in Penticton right now. So getting rid of these short-term rentals just because the person doesn't live there, and we live right next door. So we've got an eye on everything. We know what's going on. We can control it. But they just painted us all with a roller instead of, sort of individually.
Did you ever list your home on short-term rental then? Your second home?
Yeah, we were with Airbnb.
And so what did you do in May?
In May, we shut her down. We were fortunate. We would rent it for the winter. We were fortunate over the last 2 years to rent it for the winter. And we got a construction crew out of Edmonton that has jobs here in the Okanagan that have been there since November. So that's been nice. But we still had to charge them $3,000 a month, to cover the costs of everything. And but that's not permanent. We don't know how long that's going to last.
Right.
And I really don't want any old long-term person in there, if I'm going to do it that way, because of the nightmares I've heard of previous landlords and homeowners. So
whether
short-term rent it. So I don't know what we're going to do once these guys decide that they're done in the Okanagan here.